Hello everybody and welcome. Today I am going to be recording myself breaking down a chicken and making soup and airline chicken breast for mine and my partner's dinner with asparagus and zucchini, as well as a mushroom gravy. So, without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and finish drying off this chicken, because when you buy store-bought raw chickens like this, they are just packed in water. So before we even start processing the bird even a little bit, we're going to wipe it thoroughly, make sure it's nice and clean and dry, and then we're going to change our gloves. Don't mind that errant beeping, it's my GoPro charging. Eventually I'm going to be recording these videos with the GoPro, so we're going to get a little bit better of a recording quality as well as a point of view. Get down. My apologies. My cat was trying to get all up in my jammy. And of course I'm keeping a separate cutting board, and I'm going to get a new paper towel and a new knife for whenever I start doing my vegetables. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my cat out of here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off some of this extra skin back here, as well as cutting off the tail. And as you can see, there's just a bunch of fat and skin back here that we really don't want anything to do with. Now there, typically you would want a little bit of a more robust knife. I was lucky enough to find right between some joints, and I also have myself a very sharp knife. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this skin right here at the base of the breast, because I want to keep as much skin attached to the breast as I possibly can. I'm going to come deep inside here, kind of free up a little bit more of that breast, and I'm just coming down around the top. Boots. Banished. So I'm going to set my knife down, and I'm going to change the position of the chicken. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking this right thigh all the way down into the hip, around the oyster, cutting through that little bit of cartilage that just holds the hip on. And then we're just coming through the back. 1/4 chicken. One thigh. Thigh quarter. These are going to go into my soup. And I'm just going to do the same thing on this other side. I'm not too worried about making sure the silver skin gets pulled or anything like that. All I'm trying to do right now is just get the chicken broken down into some big old chunks for making soup and airline quarters. And now, for anybody who doesn't know, an airline chicken quarter is the breast, as well as the first joint of the arm. Aha, I was just hitting a bone and blunting my knife. And so, I have hit my counter a handful of times, so I'm going to have to clean my counter again. And those are just going in to start the base for my chicken stock. Boots, move. Sorry, my cat is in the middle of the floor. And so, moving right along, we're going to score the skin. It may tear. Mine tore a little bit. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and take the skin off at this point. It's doing me more harm than good, and I just don't want to mess with it anymore. So all I'm doing to take the skin off is I'm just pulling at that layer of silver skin and running my knife right between the silver skin and the meat itself. And as always, it does help to have just a super, super sharp knife. Boots, that's enough. Now, on to the fun part. Scoring the breast. All we're doing is we're taking the breast just down until we can work our fingers under it. And then we're just going to work our knife backwards, going down that same area. I don't know how well you can see where I'm splitting, but now I'm going right up next to the ribs. And I'm going to cut around the ribs because I do want the rib meat for my soup. And so, whoops. Just like that, we have our first airline chicken breast. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the wing off right there at the elbow. Don't even worry, we're going to pan fry up. The chicken, the chicken wing. There we go. Couldn't quite get that to pop. So we have one airline chicken breast, and the only bone in it is this arm bone up here. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do, so that I can maintain some space on the cutting board, is is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put oil in my pan. This way, I can get ready to start pan searing my chicken breasts. Watch out. Big old cooking pan. What we're going to do with this is we're going to use it to pan, or to hold on to this big fucking tender that I'm about to cut off. I'll show you how we do that. This, by the way, is my first time butchering a chicken like this. I would say we're doing pretty well so far. So, currently all this pan is for... I wonder if I have any parchment paper. Give me one moment. Plastic wrap. I mean, I have my solution. I am just going to set my raw chicken on a piece of plastic wrap. Over there on my baking sheet. So this way I can maintain maximal food safety while preparing all of the food. Airline chicken breast number 1. Then I am probably going to go ahead and season the chicken while it's on that pan. And we're just going to do that same thing on the other side. We only want to go so deep on this chicken, especially at the start. We're really just trying to get it to where we can start pulling it away from that breastbone. And there we have our breast starting to separate off. Once again, this might be the easier side for you guys to see what's kind of happening. Taking it all the way up to the shoulder, just so that I can see the shoulder. Next, I'm going to go down along to this rib meat, and I'm just going to keep on slicing because I don't want to take the ribs, but I do want as much of the meat as possible. And then we'll just cut through that little bit of fat. And as you can see, here's our chicken shoulder joint. We're going to start coming up from the armpit of the chicken. We're going to hold the shoulder up, and we're just going to come into this joint. And it should just come away nice and simple, nice and cleanly, just like that. Wow. How easy it is to butcher a chicken, I never knew. I'm being super genuine. Next, all I'm doing is, once again, I'm just popping off this wing. Just getting as far into that elbow as I can, coming around, scoring the skin. Oop. I did cut a little deep into the bone, so I'm getting a little bunch of blood all over the place. And there we have our second airline chicken breast. Now for the tender, similar process. We're just going to come up along the wishbone. Should be really easy to find. And we're going to separate down. All we have to do is just keep on There we go. At a certain point, we'll be able to just pull the tendon away from the silver skin. Once again, on this side, we're just coming up along this bone and then along the wishbone. We're going to come all the way down, all the way up to the shoulder, to the silver skin. And we're going to peel the tender off of the silver skin, because we don't want the silver skin with our tender. Don't want that weird stringy nastiness. And there we have our second chicken tender, as well as our rib meat and plenty of other back and oyster meat that's all gonna go nice and lovely into our chicken stock over here. I'm not sure how well you guys can see the chicken stock. Let me bring that up and into focus, back in there. So, I hope I've made the process of butchering a chicken less intimidating for everybody. I mean, it really was that easy. I did it in 15 minutes, no experience. This is my first time ever butchering a chicken. I will catch you all in the next one, where I go ahead and start actually making the rest of this dinner. And all we're going to do with this is we're just going to leave it on high. Should take probably two-ish hours to get into that nice stock that we want it to be, and we want it to be that stock before we start adding our vegetables. I am going to leave the thighs in there, but once it's boiled for an hour or so, I'm going to go ahead and pull it off the heat. So, hope y'all enjoyed this little tutorial. Got these little wings over here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those quite yet. I'm really excited to do these airline breasts. But I'll catch you all in the next episode, where I do up the breasts and tenders, and I go ahead and get them baking, and then I start processing vegetables for my soup.